Hey, Raiders fans, let's get into it, because this last game was one of those heart-crunching moments that reminds you just how unpredictable football can be. Watching the Raiders against the Chargers felt like riding a roller coaster without the safety bar. Every play had me on edge, and not in a good way. From the very start, it was clear that this wasn't going to be an easy game. The energy at Allegiant Stadium was insane, the fans were electric, and you could feel Raider Nation pulsing with hope. But hope alone doesn't win games, and unfortunately, we learned that the hard way. The game slipped through our fingers not just once, but multiple times, and the mistakes kept piling up like a bad replay loop you can't escape. It wasn't about being outplayed entirely. It was about throwing opportunities away over and over, giving the Chargers chances they didn't even have to work hard for. And when you're facing a team with a solid head coach like Jim Harbaugh, a team that knows how to capitalize on mistakes, those kinds of errors are fatal. Now, let's be honest about Geno Smith. He's the quarterback, so naturally, he takes a lot of heat when the team struggles, but calling him a trash quarterback after one bad outing? That's a massive overreaction. Week 1 looks so promising. Geno was hitting deep passes, showing that he could stretch the field, and the offense had some rhythm. The Chargers, however, came prepared. They knew exactly what to take away from this Raiders offense, and executed it perfectly. Geno went from 9 completions over 20 yards in Week 1 to 0 completions over 10 yards against the Chargers. 3 interceptions on throws that were meant to challenge the defense and flip the game on its head. Those numbers sting, no question. But does that mean Geno is done or incapable? Absolutely not. The game plan against him, combined with the protection issues, turned a quarterback capable of making big plays into someone forced into mistakes. When the offensive line struggles to hold, when routes don't develop properly, even the best quarterbacks can look out of sync. That's not just on Geno. It's on the team, the play calling, and sometimes just the harsh reality of facing a defense that's prepared for everything you do well. And speaking of the offense, the way Ashton Gentry was used is something that really stands out. Drafted high, full of potential, explosive in every opportunity, yet he didn't see the field in ways that let him thrive. The game plan didn't take advantage of what makes him special. 11 carries for 43 yards doesn't reflect his ability to break off explosive plays, and when you combine that with limited targets in the passing game, you start to see why the offense struggled to find rhythm. Gentry is at his best when he can get moving, feel the gaps open, and build momentum. But the Raiders didn't consistently give him that chance. There were sequences where he ran well, gained yardage, started to get comfortable, and then was pulled or limited in the next series. That kills momentum. And it's not just a minor detail. It's the kind of thing that could decide close games. When you invest a high draft pick in a running back, you need to put him in a position to succeed. If the line struggles, find a way to compensate. Give him plays that let him reach his potential. Too often, the Raiders' strategy seemed reactive rather than proactive, and it showed on the scoreboard. The offensive line itself is another story entirely. Watching the line struggle under pressure, failing to create the running lanes and pockets necessary for Geno or Gentry to thrive, it's impossible to ignore. The mix of players trying to find chemistry, combined with injuries and rotations, meant that timing was off, holes weren't opening when they should, and the quarterback had to make split-second decisions under duress. And when the center snaps the ball off target, when coordination breaks down in critical moments, it compounds the pressure on every skill player. One sequence, in particular, stands out. The snap goes to Geno, but it's off the mark, forcing him into a scramble he shouldn't have to make. Those small errors, repeated throughout the game, snowball. And while the defense deserves credit for keeping the team in the contest, making stops, and preventing a blowout, the offense's inability to adjust effectively meant the team couldn't capitalize. Predictability and poor execution became the narrative, and it cost the Raiders dearly. Looking ahead, the pressure is now on for Week 3. The Raiders will face the Commanders on the road, and that game will reveal a lot about where this team stands. Can Geno Smith bounce back? Will the offense find balance and rhythm? Can Ashton Gentry get the opportunities he deserves? These are not rhetorical questions. They will define the trajectory of this season. Fans, analysts, and anyone invested in Raider Nation are watching closely because the potential is there, but the execution has to match it. One of the most frustrating parts about being a Raiders fan is knowing the pieces are there: talent, coaching, and heart, all in one place. But putting them together consistently against tough competition is where the challenge lies. And make no mistake, the AFC is wide open. Teams are making mistakes. Defenses are exploitable. And if the Raiders can tighten things up, there's still a path to make a statement. But it starts with fundamentals, protection, and smart utilization of key players. The energy of the fans at Allegiant Stadium and across Raider Nation is unmatched. Even in a loss, the loyalty, the passion, the sheer excitement is tangible. That connection between the team and the supporters matters, and it's a reminder that football is bigger than just wins and losses. It's about identity, resilience, and belief. And that belief is what will carry this team through challenges. For Geno, for Gentry, for the entire offense, the next few weeks are going to be a test of adaptation, adjustment, and mental toughness. The Chargers game was painful, yes, but it also serves as a lesson. Every mistake, every turnover, every misstep is an opportunity to learn, improve, and come back stronger. And while the frustration is real, so is the opportunity for growth. Raider Nation thrives on resilience, and this team now has a clear picture of what they need to fix to compete at the level they're capable of. It's messy, it's raw, and it's absolutely thrilling, because every challenge is a chance to prove that the heart of a Raider beats as strong as ever. Now, diving deeper into what's going wrong on offense, it's impossible to ignore the question of balance. Football at its best is about rhythm, timing, and unpredictability, and the Raiders' offense, as we saw against the Chargers, struggled to find all three. Chip Kelly's schemes are designed to create tempo, to open up multiple options, and to make defenses hesitate, but when the running game isn't utilized properly, the whole structure begins to wobble. Ashton Gentry's talent was meant to be a weapon, a dual threat who can punish defenses both on the ground and in the passing game. Instead, what we saw were sequences where he barely touched the ball, or where the carries he did get didn't develop into momentum. 11 carries for 43 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 targets in the passing game. It's hard to justify that kind of usage for a player drafted so high, a player whose impact could be game-changing if put in the right situations. And the frustration isn't just about the numbers. It's about how the offense looks on the field. Watching Gentry hesitate, waiting for a hole to open that often isn't there, seeing him removed at critical moments, it's clear there's a disconnect between the scheme and the player's strengths. This is the kind of thing that can make or break a season. Meanwhile, Geno Smith's struggles cannot be looked at in isolation either. He is, by all accounts, a capable quarterback, but against the Chargers, he was forced into situations that didn't play to his strengths. Protection broke down, routes weren't developing properly, and he had to make decisions under pressure he shouldn't have faced. The interceptions weren't just bad throws. They were the result of a domino effect caused by defensive schemes, poor blocking, and sometimes questionable play calling. When your offensive line isn't clicking, when your center snaps off target, or when the line fails to create proper lanes, a quarterback's mistakes start to pile up fast. And that's exactly what happened. Geno was trying to make plays, trying to stretch the field, trying to find openings where none seemed to exist, and as a result, the game turned into a struggle against not just the Chargers, but against the circumstances set up by the combination of talent, injuries, and strategic choices. And yet, even in the midst of all this, Geno showed flashes of what makes him a starting caliber quarterback. His decision-making in limited opportunities, his ability to scramble under duress, and his capacity to throw deep when protection allowed it. These are the traits that Raider Nation believes in, and they're the reason for holding on to confidence in him despite the rough outing. What's also glaringly obvious is the predictability of the offense. When you watch the Raiders, especially on game tape against a disciplined defense like the Chargers, it's clear what the plays are going to be before they happen. That predictability makes adjustments for the defense much easier. When the Raiders finally get Gentry moving, teams adjust, and the opportunity to gain chunk yardage disappears. That's not a reflection of his ability. That's a reflection of the way the offense has been structured and the limited options he's given to shine. And this extends beyond Gentry. This affects every skill position. Wide receivers don't get separation because the routes aren't opening up as designed. The quarterback is forced to make risky throws, and the defense is dictating the pace instead of the Raiders. That's a recipe for frustration, and it explains a lot of what we saw in that 20-9 loss. It's not just about talent. It's about opportunity, timing, and the ability to adapt in real time. The Raiders are still learning to do all of that consistently under new coaching, new quarterback, and a mix of veterans and young players who are still finding chemistry. Looking at the offensive line, it's hard to sugarcoat the situation. The line struggled to generate the physicality needed to dominate the line of scrimmage. Gentry is used to seeing bigger gaps, faster lanes, and a line that can control the point of attack. The Raiders' line struggled in these areas, and as a result, the running game suffered and the quarterback faced pressure he couldn't escape. When plays break down in the backfield, when gaps don't appear where they're supposed to, the timing of every offensive sequence collapses. This isn't just about one player being out of position. It's about an entire system failing to gel at critical moments. When Jackson Powers-Johnson isn't on the field due to injury, when the interior line lacks physicality, when snap exchanges are off, it forces improvisation, and improvisation under pressure often leads to mistakes. And the mistakes we saw were costly. The Raiders have pieces, they have talent, they have skill, and they have coaching potential. But until that offensive line can hold its own, the chances for Geno and Gentry to thrive will remain limited. That's not speculation. That's what the film tells you. The frustration for Raider Nation isn't just in the losses, though. It's in seeing potential misused. High draft picks like Gentry deserve opportunities to impact the game, yet he's not being consistently put in positions to succeed. Geno Smith deserves protection and proper schemes to play to his strengths. Yet the offensive line and predictable play calls leave him vulnerable. Fans see it, analysts see it, and the players themselves know when they're not being utilized properly. That gap between talent and execution is where frustration turns into anxiety. But here's the thing. The potential is still enormous. The AFC is still open. Opportunities to climb the standings remain. And if the Raiders can fix these structural issues, this season could look very different. It's about adjustments, and it's about making smart decisions with the pieces already on the roster. The team's identity, when fully realized, is explosive and dynamic. But the Chargers game reminded everyone that talent alone won't win. It takes execution, it takes balance, and it takes adapting under pressure. And while the offense is where most of the frustration comes from, the defense deserves recognition. They kept the team in the game when the offense couldn't, making critical stops, creating pressure, and preventing the score from spiraling out of control. Without their effort, the outcome could have been even more lopsided. The defense's performance is a reminder that the Raiders have core strengths to build on. Players who can make plays under pressure, who can create opportunities even when things go wrong elsewhere. It also highlights the contrast between units. A defense executing at a high level and an offense struggling to find rhythm. The contrast makes the problems more obvious, but it also gives a blueprint for improvement. If the offense can catch up to the defense, if adjustments are made in protection, usage of key players, and play calling, this team could become a serious contender. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Malcolm KOONCE, the electrifying defensive end, has set social media ablaze following his unexpected and controversial exit from the Las Vegas Raiders. Fans, analysts, and insiders alike are buzzing with theories about what really happened behind the scenes, and the NFL world hasn't stopped speculating since the news broke. KOONCE, who had steadily built a reputation as a relentless force on the field, seemed poised for a breakout season. Instead, the abrupt split has left everyone questioning the motives, both from the player and the organization. Sources close to the team hint at tension in the locker room, that may have escalated over the past few months. While the Raiders' official statements remain carefully neutral, cryptic posts from KOONCE's social media suggest a mix of frustration and defiance. Some fans have interpreted his recent posts as subtle digs at management, fueling a frenzy of theories about internal disputes, contract disagreements, and even clashes with coaching staff. The reaction online has been nothing short of explosive. Hashtags demanding answers and speculating on his next move have been trending since morning. Meanwhile, sports insiders are hinting at potential suitors already lining up to acquire the star defensive end. Teams desperate to bolster their pass rush are reportedly keeping a close eye on every social media update and interview, eager to gauge his mindset. Pundits are divided. Some believe KOONCE's fiery departure could serve as motivation for an even more dominant performance elsewhere, while others worry that unresolved tensions could carry over, impacting his focus. Adding fuel to the fire, former teammates have weighed in with cryptic comments, hinting that KOONCE's exit might be more than just a business decision. Every post, every like, and every comment is being analyzed for hidden meaning, turning what should have been a simple roster change into a full-blown social media saga. Whether this is the start of a high-profile new chapter or a brief, dramatic interlude in his career, one thing is clear. Malcolm KOONCE has the NFL talking, and the speculation shows no sign of slowing down. Fans are left on edge, waiting for either an official confirmation of his next destination or a surprising twist that could rewrite the narrative entirely. In a league where drama often overshadows the game, KOONCE's sudden exit proves that football isn't just about touchdowns and tackles. It's also about the storylines that ignite the imagination of millions. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.